What's up, y'all, my embers? Hope you're doing good. Today I wanted to take my time to respond to a brilliant video I recently watched from an even more brilliant YouTuber, Darryl Talks Games. He did, as always, an absolutely stunning job of covering why do we gamers,
epic gamer, we gamers will rise,
keep playing games that honestly we just don't like anymore. And I don't know why, but the YouTube algorithm was on something, because right before it recommended me this video, I was actually watching another video about dopamine addiction and dopamine fasting from healthygamer.gg or Dr. K. And when I watched both of these videos together, I just knew I had to make a video tying up the learnings from both and injecting some of my own thoughts in it. To start off, I will be giving a brief summary to the sections of both videos in questions. However, I really urge you to go watch both. They will be the first links in the description, and I suggest watching the Darryl Talks Games videos first because it's 20 minutes, and then you can watch the Dr. K video because it's longer and you can just listen to it like a podcast. Alright, so without further ado, let's start this response video. The video by Darryl Talks Games is essentially broken into 4 parts. These are: number 1, some games are designed for you to hate them, so you keep coming back to beat them. Number 2, the sunk cost fallacy and video games. Number 3, completing games so you can hate them online, which is a very interesting point, and it's an interesting section of the video as well, so go check it out. And lastly, number 4, playing games for so long that they lose the charm, just like an old married couple. So these aren't actually the titles of the chapters, these are more explanatory phrases I came up with to clarify the 4 points of why Darryl thinks we keep coming back to games that we hate. But point number 1 and 3 are more self-contained. I mean, Darryl presents his arguments and commentary very well, and I don't really have much to add here. Just as a summary, number 1 is about games like Darksouls, Hollow Knight, and the like, which give you success and failure in equal parts to have a scheduled or variable reinforcement cycle. This means these games make failure a central pillar in the design philosophy, as when you lose so many times, you get more fulfillment when you eventually win, and therefore a higher amount of dopamine is released. Just keep this fact in mind for later. We're gonna come back to it. Number 3 is a unique point where some people online say that you can't hate a game until you finish it. So some of us, the chads that we gamers are, pump in 1,000 hours in a goddamn game we hate, just so that we can log on to Reddit or Twitter and start our justified crusade of a rant. Not gonna lie, that prospect does sound enticing, because I mean, who doesn't like a good rant, huh? Anyway, point number 2 and 4 is where I really want to add my own thoughts and commentary. Point number 2, aka the sunk cost fallacy, explains that we play games that we really don't like because we're in too deep. I mean, if you've already pumped in 50 or 100 hours into Elden Ring, or Zelda, or a Final Fantasy, hell, maybe even 1,000 hours in an MMO like Destiny 2, World of Warcraft, or a competitive game like League of Legends and CSGO, you may as well keep playing it because, well, you're in too deep, right? Does this describe you? Well, at least for me, it doesn't describe me completely. Nor do I think it describes all the gamers who are in too deep either. Alright, so first let me talk about the rest of the gamers, and then I will talk about what happens with me. So remember at the start, I talked about Dr. K's video on dopamine addiction and dopamine fasting? Well, this might actually describe the sunk cost fallacy further, or even contradict it a little bit. In that video, Dr. K explains that the reason for trying a dopamine fast should only be if you are doing any activity that you don't necessarily get any fulfillment from.
So if you play video games for 10 hours a day and don't actually have fun, then you may need a dopamine detox. If you spend a bunch of time on social media and don't even enjoy it, you may need a dopamine detox.
Let's look at an example outside gaming to understand this concept better. Do you scroll Reddit, Twitter, TikTok, or YouTube for hours and hours and feel emotionally empty at the end of it? Do you close the app and go like, the hell was I even doing? See, what's happening there is that you aren't getting any real satisfaction from doing these activities. You're doing these activities because they've become a habit. You say, come on, I mean, I have to check my phone. I can't just not check it, right? And that, my friend, is a surefire tell of a habit built through dopamine addiction. The reason why you're scrolling these websites isn't because you're willingly thinking, oh man, I can't wait to check up on this new Reddit post or Twitter thread or whatever. It's because these apps have reinforced or hardwired this behavior into you. I would urge you to study how these social media sites use insidious techniques to keep you addicted, but the main thing you should know is social media is essentially a slot machine. Your swipe up is a pull on that slot machine. If you get a short, a post, or a tweet that you're interested in, you get a dopamine release.
Oh yeah.
When you get something bland, you swipe up again. This is how these sites and apps hook you into this weird cycle of just swiping and swiping and swiping.
Swiper, no swiping! Swiper, no swiping!
Oh man.
And games work like this as well, but in a less insidious way. I mean, you know going in that you play a game because you get satisfaction by beating it or beating a boss or completing it, whatever. Unlike social media, where you think you are scrolling to get information, news, connect with your friends, etc., but end up getting hooked because of the methods used by these companies. Darryl touched upon this in point number 2 as well. I think along with, or even more than the sunk cost fallacy, this is a far bigger reason as to why we keep playing games we hate. We are essentially addicted. Or a better way to phrase it is, we've made playing the game a habit. Therefore, we just have to play it. Our minds, after continual releases of dopamine, have been neurologically hardwired to play the game we hate. This is why, similar to social media, we don't get any pleasure from playing these games. We just keep playing them, you know? We just have to log on every day, pump in some hours, log off. And I mean, I don't want to point any fingers, but League of Legends players.
How did they think that was okay to even put it in the game? I'm so sick of this fucking company. They're trash! Fix the game! It sucks playing the shit! And I'm fucking addicted! So I can't quit! And I'm fucking addicted!
I haven't played League like at all, but all the League players I know just hate the game for some reason. I mean, they don't stop bitching about it, which is why A, I'm scared to play the game, and B, I'm confused as to why these people keep playing it. Okay, yeah, it's obviously it's not just League. I was just using it as an example. For me, I remember when I was young, I kept playing COD Zombies for hours and hours, even though I wasn't necessarily having fun. I used to just come home from school and play it till like 8 or 9 p.m. until I had to do homework or go to sleep. I just had to play it. And looking back at it, I think it was because that round number that kept going up reinforced a habit in me through this dopamine circuitry. Is this for you as well? Comment down below if you had any experience similar to mine. I would love to hear from you all. You can also bitch about League of Legends down in the comments. I don't mind. Anyway, now my own thoughts about the sunk cost fallacy and why I play games I don't necessarily like. Well, to tell you the truth, I actually don't play games I don't like anymore. I've been through this cycle with, as mentioned before, COD Zombies, or you know, Halo multiplayer, or Diablo, or Skyrim, or GTA, and the list goes on, to a point where I just had to quit playing games for a bit, just to reassess my life. Early life crisis, I think. Okay, yeah, there were other factors too, but nonetheless. Though I will say, I'm not immune to it completely. Yeah, generally I don't do things I don't like, but as with all things in life, there are exceptions. The main reason why I would keep playing a game, or read a book / manga, or watch an anime / show, actually no, I quit shows all the time. forget that. That I don't particularly like is to see the point the author/developer was trying to get across. I generally try to finish things I start not because I have to, but because I want to give the artist a chance to completely finish their work. If I still keep hating it by the end of it, so be it. But there's always that small chance that the ending brings everything together in such a way that you can only look back with endearment. There are several examples I can give of this, the top of which is Code Geass for me. Oh, shut up. Yeah, yes, it was a good anime. It was an amazing anime. But do you remember the damn cat chase? Or the school festival? I like the anime, but god damn were there parts of the show that absolutely made me want to quit out of boredom or just confusion. But I kept going, just so I could see what the end was. And boy was it worth it. Similarly, the Mistborn series by Brandon Sanderson or Berserk. I couldn't stomach the loss of characters I loved, the gore, the violence, the depressing setting, which really made me want to quit. Oh no! But I kept going. I wanted to see the art piece in its entirety, and for both of these examples, this was totally worth it. If you guys haven't read Berserk or Mistborn, highly recommend it. But all this is not to say that I disagree with Darryl. I absolutely think the sunk cost fallacy is an important point to consider. Hell, even I have played games to the 30-hour mark just so I could justify the purchase in my head. If that isn't the sunk cost fallacy, then I don't know what it is. Finally, the last point. Point number 4. Playing games for so long that you start to notice the kinks and blemishes at every corner. This segment of Darryl's video has an absolutely beautiful end. Letting go. And when to let go.
Slowly wilting. It's the realization that something you love so deeply is flawed, and that you'll never get to have that magical first playthrough again. Is it better to leave the game once you're done and move on to something else so that you can remember it fondly, or to indulge yourself with the experience over and over until you're absolutely sick of it? Which I think weaves nicely into the last thing I want to talk about today, what we take away from all of this. When do we know it's time to walk away from a game? And the answer honestly depends entirely on you.
Here I disagree yet agree with Darryl. He says that quitting is basically up to you. And though I agree with that in general terms, I will say that gamers should make quitting much more of a habit than they currently do. Now, this doesn't cover professional esports or competitive games, speedrunning, or live service games. These have other factors of why you keep playing them, like if you're a pro CSGO player, I mean it's your job, or a speedrunner on Twitch, or you play Final Fantasy XIV because new DLCs are planned. So yeah, they go a bit out of scope for this video. The old married couple is an excellent illustration that Darryl uses, but I would disagree with it fundamentally. See, the thing about old married couples is they are in a relationship with living beings. If you're an old married couple, you do start to find the kinks and blemishes in your partner, but humans are absolutely limitless beings in a finite reality. Let me try to explain what that means. We are limitless beings. This is the sole reason why economics, psychology, sociology have such a hard time trying to figure us out. We defy expectations, we defy preconceived notions, but most of all, we are very, very surprising.
Gotcha, bitch!
An old married couple may fall out, but that isn't because fundamentally marriages can only last 30 to 40 years, you know. There are couples who stick to the phrase, till death do us part. And it's because both of the humans in the relationship are growing. They're trying, they're doing something new every day or every month or at least every year. They are surprising to each other. They can't get bored. Only and only if both stop trying will the marriage get boring and they might eventually end up falling out. This is why we can't compare games to an old married couple. Or well, why you can't marry games. moving on to the second aspect. We are finite beings in a finite reality. This is really easy to understand. When you know that your partner in life will soon depart or you will depart them, it establishes a deep and profound bond. A bond that is everlasting because it knows it won't last forever. We will say our final goodbyes one day. So can we really afford to not enjoy the little time we have left with our loved ones? That got emotional. So, games. Are games limitless? No. They do a certain thing and are expected to be a certain way. I mean, Destiny isn't going to become Atelier Ryza all of a sudden, nor will Elden Ring become Animal Crossing, but God, would I love to see that happen though. Imagine Godfrey as Tom Nook and he is issuing you out home loans for runes. That'd be crazy. They have a certain thing that they have to stick to, and they may be excellent in that certain thing, but that is all there is that they can offer. They aren't humans who can end up doing anything, but limited works of art made to do limited things. This will most certainly lead you to discover all the good parts of the game, but also all the bad parts too. And nothing you or the game will do can change the bad you see in it, ever. Moving on, are games finite? Well, in the sense I'm talking about, no they aren't. We don't need to worry about games going anywhere in the sense that if I had Left 4 Dead downloaded onto my computer in the early 2000s, I could play it now or I could play it in 10 years into the future. I am not worried about Left 4 Dead going anywhere. I don't cherish it as if it was a human. I know that it's going to be in the same state whenever I play it again and that I can play it anywhere at any time. So this is just my opinion, but I think we should stop playing games as soon as the end credits roll. Final end credits. You have to see the end credits of Nier Automata 4 times to see the final end credits. But yeah, generally the end credits. It's the artist telling you that this is the end of the experience. Yes, they may add New Game Plus to give you more content to play, but the artistic message has been conveyed and the story is over. And if you stop playing it at that moment, you won't have a chance to fall out of love with the game or start to see the glaring issues and start to hate it. This is why if you are in your 10th New Game Plus for Resident Evil 4, Sekiro, or any other game you're really addicted to, I would humbly advise you to stop. Okay, calm down. Play what you want, damn it, I'm just a YouTuber. But know this, games cannot last you more than what the artist have envisioned, and you will start to see the flaws and hate it. But unlike an old married couple, the game isn't trying to surprise you. It can't surprise you, so put it down. It's time to say goodbye. Let the memory of the game be far more endearing to you rather than chasing the feeling of the first time you played it. Do not put upon the game a burden which it cannot bear. You must let it go and enjoy it to the extent that it was designed to be enjoyed. This is why I said earlier that I sort of agreed and disagreed with Darryl. Whereas he left it to you, the viewers, I am basically telling you all mofos to quit it. But only if you want. Sorry, put the guns down. Please, let's be civil. If I want to replay a game, I don't touch it for at least a year and a half. That way I've basically forgotten about it completely. And when I play it again, I've forgotten the bad parts and the good parts. That is why I suggest you quit. To give the game some time. To give yourself some time. Take breaks. Long breaks. If you really like a game and you really want to replay it again, let the past be sweeter to remember rather than making the present too bitter to play.